violence that occurred in World War II and the conflict. In fact, Wonder Woman is depicted as fighting the Nazis at a certain point in history. William Marston was the inventor of the polygraph, the lie detector test. And but the war had disturbed him so much, and he thought, is there a better way to achieve peace than fighting? And he thought, what if we had women in power? Would that change things? If we had women trying to solve these conflicts, these worldwide conflicts. So I have to tell you that as background to the story of Wonder Woman. Because the story is this. It takes place in the Greek times. And the Greeks had a god of war called Ares. And so all the wars that happened for the Greeks, they attributed to Ares, the god of war, sort of guiding men to be in conflict with one another. And so the goddesses got angry at this control and domination by the god Ares. So they said, what if we put the women in power? Now, women at that time were subjugated by men and were treated badly, and a lot of them perished at the hands of men as well. And so they took the souls out of Hades that had been killed because of domestic violence or some sort of other atrocity, and these goddesses decided to revive these souls to make a nation of women. And so Aphrodite and Athena and all of these goddesses, Demeter, got together and gave some of their power to these women. And so they were super strong women, and they had their own island, and they were called the Amazons. Okay? So they ruled their island, and pretty soon they started to get power. All of a sudden they had power. Now, how would the woman deal with having power and with conflict that inevitably comes? Well, they became warriors, and they became very good warriors. And so they fought just as the men had. So the goddesses thought, well, there's one remaining soul. Let's give her all of our powers, even more strength, but also equip her with the love of all of Aphrodite and the wisdom of all Athena. And so Wonder Woman was born with all these attributes. These bracelets that Amazons all wore, they were to remind them that they had once been slaves to the powers of domination of war. Wonder Woman was given silver bracelets that deflected bullets. Right? Okay. Wonder Woman also was given a lasso. Remember the lasso of truth? She could throw this around somebody and they would have to tell her the truth and come to realization about how wrong they were. That was her powers. Okay, she did not dominate through strength. She deflected bullets and she put her lasso of truth to have people come to the realization of how wrong they were. We can learn a little bit about how we deal with conflict by talking about Wonder Woman and this story. Conflict is inevitable. It's going to happen. Okay? Just because there was a whole island of women didn't mean there wasn't any conflict. Go figure. Right? We have a tendency when we're in conflict, however, to say, I'm right, and I'm going to get my way. The Ares is right, I'm going to have the power and the domination. That is our tendency, and it takes superhuman strength to resist it. Now, conflict is not a bad thing in and of itself. One of our problems in churches is we try to resist conflict at all costs, and that causes more problems. See, sometimes we think, well, we're Christians, we have to make nice and reach consensus and everybody agree on what we're going to do. But you know what? That really never happens. It's really hard to get a whole lot of people in one room to agree. See, conflict can be done badly, and that's what we think of when we think of conflict. Or it it can be done well, which leads to growth and to health versus destruction. So I have a little story to share about my recent conflict, a conflict of my own. A lot of you know I have moved into a new parsonage, and so we get to decorate the parsonage however we want. So I told the children that they could paint their rooms however they want. So my daughter says, okay, I want my room black. All right, I'm thinking, okay. Well, I don't have to repaint it when I move out, so okay, I'm okay with that. Because you know how hard it is to repaint over black paint. So, then she told me, well, Mom, I want to do splatters on the wall of different colors on the black paint. Now, this is not looking good to me. Okay, I'm worried about this a little bit. Now we're starting to get some conflict in here. She's going to paint her dark walls, and she's going to have all this splatter paint. It's going to get all over the carpet. Here's my fear. Plus, it's going to look horrible. My opinion, right? But my daughter is conflicted because, in her opinion, it's going to look fabulous, and that's what she wants. So we come to odds about this. Okay? I think this is not going to work, and I don't want to deal with the mess. And there's all these reasons why I don't like this situation. And there's all these reasons why my daughter does like this situation. And so we're in conflict. Isn't that what conflict's about? I want and need this. You want and need this. She wanted and needed a nice room that she felt comfortable in. I needed to not have mess on the carpet. I needed not to have to repaint the room because she didn't like it. We had different interests, and they were in conflict with each other. That in itself is not a bad thing. Can we agree on that? It's not a bad thing. They're just two different opinions. Now, we could take it, that conflict would be if one person won and one person lost. Now, who's in power in this relationship? Hopefully me, right? She's younger, she's 13. Hopefully I could, right? I'm the parent. I could say, absolutely not, right? No way are we going to paint your room those colors. Forget about it. I'm the parent. She might say, you know what, you can predict the answer. Why? And then what's my answer going to be? Because I said so and I'm the parent, right? All that is saying is, yes, I have the power and you don't, so just deal with it. That's not good conflict. That means one person wins and one person loses. Another thing about that would mean I was the dictator of the household. And do you think there would be buy-in from my daughter? If I said, I kind of like you to paint your room, but I'm going to tell you what colors you want, do you think she's going to like that very much? No. She's not going to have the desire and the buy-in that that's good for her because her concerns have not been addressed. Instead, I have to listen to her and listen to what her desire is and to consider her point of view, that it is her room and that she wants to be comfortable in her room and this is going to make her comfortable, and not doubt what she is saying about what she needs. Now that's a very black and white situation, literally. But many of our situations that bring us into conflict are much more complex. They're not about something that can be redone like paint. We got that Israeli-Palestine conflict. How long has that been going on? We have all these kinds of conflicts in the world. We have issues about who gets to live with who and who gets to marry who. These are complex issues. What rights do people have? What happens when somebody's rights conflict with somebody else's rights? These are big, complex issues that need to be carefully dealt with and discussed. Now, good conflict would mean that everyone feels that they have been heard and their point of view is considered. So, in the case of Michaela and her paint, I had to hear that it was her room and that these are the colors she desired, and this is what she desired to do with her room, and that it was important to her. She had to hear my point of view too, though, right? That I was concerned about the mess, and that I was concerned that she wouldn't like it, and I'd have to repaint, which is more work for me. So we had both of those concerns that were on the table and were heard. Now, once those are heard, those potential problems can be addressed, right? Michaela and I agreed that I would paint the black on the wall so that there wouldn't be any staining on the carpet, and she agreed that she wouldn't do splash paint, that instead she would do polka dots in her room. Okay, polka dots are better than splash paint, but not much better, in my personal taste. Okay, so we agreed on that. That's a potential problem that resolved my issue with the mess and helped her keep her color scheme, although it was different than she initially desired. We can do that with big conflicts as well. We need to know what all the potential problems are so that they can be addressed and resolved instead of festering. If you don't resolve a problem or an issue somebody has, it comes up later. Even if you think it's over, it comes back. You ever had that happen? You think the conflict's over and it comes back? Or it comes back again and again and again? That never happened in the buyer's years of marriage. We know that. The other thing is that when you have these discussions, you achieve an understanding of all the issues concerned and what everybody needs from the situation. And you can address these complex issues with understanding, compassion, and consideration. What my daughter and I got from one another was, I considered her opinion and her tastes and her wants and needs, and she considered my wants and needs. But I had to let go. I had to let go of wanting control of the wall, and she had to let go of control of wanting exactly what she wanted to. There was an agreement. We didn't all win, but we all didn't lose either. There was no winning or losing. There was an agreement that was reached. In your conflicts, you will not always win. But it's not about winning or losing. It's about being heard. It's about getting the room finished, the problem solved, the conflict transformed into something you can work with. So one of the things Wonder Woman has is bracelets. How do we equip ourselves for good conflict? We have to have bracelets that deflect bullets. People will come at you when they're angry or they have emotions or passion about something, and they'll start saying, wanting to fight with you, wanting to be right, wanting to have everything go their way. We have to be able to deflect that. We have to be able to have boundaries, in other words, so that those people and those passions do not stir up our own passions, so that we're no longer in a conversation. We are just thinking about what we want winning. Okay? So the first thing we need to do is deflect the bullets. To go, okay, that's not mine. Okay, I know you're having a fit. I'm not going to. I'm going to wait. And to have calmness. And remembering the way of Christ, which is to seek understanding, to ask questions. Why are you so angry about this? Why are you so passionate about it? Tell me why you want your room black with polka dots. But I have to let go of my anger and my passion. I have to deflect any negativity. The lasso of truth is the other thing that Wonder Woman has, right? When she puts the lasso around, people confess. They tell the truth. We have to start by listening to others. We have to seek others' points of view. We have to observe in a room who is speaking and who is silent. Because a lot of times we overlook the are quiet. They're thinking. They're thinking. And us extroverts are like, blah, 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 blah. And the introverts are thinking. And I have never met an introvert that wasted space on words. They always have really good things to say once they say them. It may take a while. I'm an extrovert, you can tell. But I think out loud and I say really stupid things. And sometimes my words are wasted, like today. Just kidding. But the introverts always seem to have a well-thought-out thing to say. We need to listen to them. They're not always going to be the outspoken one in the room. They may not say a word, but come afterwards and tell you. And finally, we need to listen to what everybody needs. Not what they want, what they need. What kinds of things do they really need? So I have the final words for you. If you think you've won, you haven't. Shrinking violets, people who don't speak up and tell what they need, have thorns in wait. Bulls in china shops, people who always have to get their way, are reckless and are easily distracted from the real situation by seeing red, getting so wrapped up in their passions. And conflict is not wrong, and it's not brokenness. It is growth. We have to stretch ourselves and hear others' opinions and broaden ours in order to grow. Jesus taught all these things to his disciples and more. May we seek the way of Jesus Christ, of peace and understanding in all we do.